Good morning, girls. Today it is not possible to take the live classes. Till that, we have discussed and learned about how to prepare the full cost sheet, how to calculate the profit, how to fix the selling price, and what are the different components of cost sheet. Everything we have learned very clearly. So today, the third unit, that is material control. I have recorded and upload the video. You may download and listen the video. If you have any doubt, you ask me in the next class. Okay, now let's see material control. What is material and what is material control? What are the different aspects and what are the objectives? Everything we will see one by one. Okay, what is material? Material is the first and most important element of the cost. Material means any commodity which is processed in a factory in order to convert it into finished product. So material may be a raw material or any tools or spare parts or any consumable stores, etc. So in this material includes both direct and indirect materials. So direct and indirect materials purchased for stock purposes, that to be issued to different jobs, work orders or department, and as when required are known as stores. So next we will see what is material control. Material control means it is the cost designed, the material which is based on cost designed with the object of maintaining the material supplies at a level, different level, so as to ensure the uh, uninterrupted production, but at the same time minimizing the investment funds. So it is a systematic control over the purchasing, storing and using of material so as to have the minimum possible cost of material. So in simple words, material control means it is a system which ensures the right quantity of material is available in the right quantity at the right time and the right place, within the right amount of investment, that is known as material control. So in this material control, it has various aspects of material control. That is mainly there are two aspects of material control. One is accounting aspect and another one is the operational aspect. So the material control on the basis of the accounting aspect, that is concerned with maintaining the documentary evidence of the movement of materials at every stage, right from the time of sales and production budgets are approved to the point when materials are purchased and actually used in production operation. And the next one is operational aspects. So the material used or the material control that is related to the operational aspects, the maintenance with the material supplies at different levels so as to ensure that the material is available for use in production and production services, and as when required by minimizing the investment in material. So that is the material control is basically that aims at efficient purchasing of material, their efficient storing and efficient use of consumption. And the next one is objectives of the material control. In that, first one is availability of materials. There should be availability of all type of materials in the factory, so that the production may not be held up for the want of materials. And no excessive investment in materials. Due to material control, there is a possibility that should be avoided the excessive investment in the materials. That is, the overstocking must be avoided. Investment must not be tied up funds that could be better used in other activities or in other purpose. And the next one is a reasonable price. So in this case, while purchasing, it is seen that it is purchased at low prices, but the quality should not be sacrificed at the cost of lower prices. Then next one is minimum wastage. So here there should be minimum possible wastage of materials while these are being stored in godowns. So when the bulk purchases, this is possible to when the bulk purchases, the purchased materials are stored in the godowns, or you, that is the over stock, that is over purchase of the materials that is stored in the godowns are used in the factory. It should be allowed up to certain level known as normal wastages. And the next one is no risk of spoilage or obsolescence. So in this case, in order to avoid the spoilage or obsolescence, that is the maximum quantity of each material is determined, and the proper method of issue of material is followed, so that will guide the material control. And the next one is ready information about the availability of material. So this is the most important objective of the material control, that is the storekeeper can supply the information because he keeps an up-to-date record of every item of stocks under the proper system of material control. And the next one is misappropriation of material. So material can easily misappropriated. There may be a chances for making fraud by the employees. Therefore, this requires an internal check on material, which is a part of material control. And the next one is a right amount of payment to suppliers. So invoices, once the order is placed, that is invoices received from the supplies should be approved for payment only if items of materials ordered have been received and properly checked to avoid the excess payment to supplies. And these are the some objectives are material control. And the next one is purchase procedures, that is a procedure for purchasing. So in that the purchase, before going to see the purchase procedure, let's see the purchase department. What is purchase department? So the purchase department that procures the materials, supplies, services, machines at the most favorable terms that consist with maintaining the desired standard of quality. That is, the size of the business concern permits it should have separate purchase department, and responsibility of the purchasing of all types of materials should be entrusted to this department. So that is normally in the very big organizations, that is a centralized purchase is possible. So that is a centralized purchase in the sense nothing but the all the department requirements are purchased by the purchase department, and in a very small or the small concern, so it is not possible that is followed in the centralized purchases of materials. So that is it will leads to heavy cost, or that is the maintenance cost, etc. Then the procedure of the purchasing, in that first step is purchase requisition. So the purchase officer does not initiate any action for the purchase of material on his own, uh, with but with the help of the purchase requisition. So purchase officer comes to know the type of materials needed in the various department of the organization. This is a usual procedure used as a request to the purchasing department to the purchase material. This form is prepared by the storekeeper and is generally prepared in that is uh, triplicate, that is in three thrice, that is the original copy, three copies of the purchase requisition, and that one copy of, or the original copy is sent to the purchasing department. The duplicate copies, other two duplicate copies are kept by the storekeeper or the department which require the materials requisition or prepare the material requisition. And the third is sent to the concerned authorizing executives or for the higher authorities. And the next step is, once the store purchasing department once receive the purchase requisitions from the various department, the next step is selection of suppliers. So in this case, the supplier selection is very important, because based on the suppliers, based on the suppliers, all the materials are going to be ordered. So for that, the supplier selection is the most important step, which that is this helps the purchase officer to identify the suitable and convenient suppliers. So he may evaluate and take and contact with the suppliers. The main objective of supplier selection is to reduce the purchase risk, that is minimize overall cost to the purchasing of materials, and develop the closeness and long term relationship between the buyer and seller. So here that is the issuing the purchase order and quotation may be invited from the various suppliers for that is selecting the suitable suppliers. Then the next one is, that is the selection of supplier is, while selecting the suppliers, the purchase officer or the purchase department officer may keep in certain important concept, that is cost. The suppliers is supply the materials with the reasonable cost, and the quality of the material, safetyness of the materials delivery, whether the suppliers are delivered the materials on time, their services and their social responsibility, convenience, that is whenever we required they whether they are supplied their the that is the convenience of both the suppliers as well as the organization, and the simplicity, risk. So all these things we may consider, then we may select the suitable suppliers. And the next one is purchase order. The third step of the purchasing procedure is purchase order. Purchase order is issued to the selected supplier. So here the purchase order is a document that is created by a purchase officer, that indicates the item they wish to purchase from the suppliers. A purchase order is a contract that forms an agreement between the um, suppliers and the uh, customers that concerning the goods the buyer wish to purchase. A purchase order that contains the important details about the goods the buyer that intends to purchase. That purchase order consisting, that is the name of the product, the quantity, the price of the material or price of the product, any additional terms and condition for conditions regarding the sales, discount, or the transportation, delivery, some other things. So the purchase order is a request for the goods at the quantity and price listed by the supplier. And the next one is receiving materials. The next procedure of the purchasing material is receiving materials. So in this materials ordered are supplied to the receiving department, which is required to unpack the goods and is also required to verify the same with the help of that is a copy of the purchase order, delivery challan received from the transport agency or the supplier, and the invoice bill. That is the verification result may be recorded in the material received report. So once the order is placed, so the supplier supply the goods. So in the organization there is the storekeepers are the stores in charges, they receive the materials. So they are receiving materials based on the three things, that is one is purchase based on the purchase order and the delivery challan sent by the supplier, and third thing is based on the invoice bill. So the verification result may be recorded in materials received report. A minimum of 3 copies must be prepared. The original copy sent to the stores department, and the duplicate one to the accounts department, and the third one is retained by the record section. So but it is a usual practice that 5 copies may be prepared, and the fourth one is that is a fourth one is sent to the production department, and the fifth one is that used by the stores department. So this stores department uses the copy for its inspection section. And the next one is approval. Approval of invoice. Invoice approval is the process of reviewing and approving supplier invoices before the payment is processed or payment is made by the organization. So this approval invoices that is prepared in thrice. The invoice approval process begins once the buyer or the purchase executives or the purchase officer receives as a supply invoices. The invoice is then sorted into specific category and forwarded to the respective person for approval. So once the uh, invoices is approved, then the next and last step is payment made on invoices or making the payments. After the invoice is approved, the payment is made to the supplier. So this process is done by the account section. So the accounts officer verify all the bill invoices and check the invoices approved officers initials everything. Then the accounts officer made the payment on the invoices. So these are the some procedures for purchasing the material. Then the next one is stores control. Once the material is received, once the material is ordered and purchased by the purchase department, the material is sent to the stores department. So here the duty of the storekeeper to receive all the materials and he may verify or to inspect all the materials, whether the materials are in good conditions or the quality and the number of units, everything. So that is with the help of the inspection officer, he may inspect all the materials or the goods. Then he may receive the materials and he may placed in the materials are placed in that respective places. So that is the duty of the storekeeper. So first let's see who is the storekeeper. A storekeeper is a person who is in charge of the stores department. He is receiving all the that is all the materials and he may stored in that stores and he may maintain the stores and at the same time he may issue the materials whenever the department is required, that is based on the material requisition letters. So in this stores control that protect the material and avoiding the overstocking, because the storekeeper maintains the store's ledger that shows very clearly that is the that is how many number of units of materials are in stock or at what price or everything is shows very clearly. Then keeping proper records of usage, wastage, etc. That is while maintaining the materials. So there may be some chances for wastages. So that is everything is mentioned in that store's ledger. So that is the duty of the storekeeper. And the next one is and the next one is aspect of stores control. In that stores aspect, so it has two aspects. So one is centralized stores and another one is decentralized stores. So in the store's layout, the storekeeper may carefully designing and arrangement of the store's room that is desirable for saving in cost, and at the same time not only to saving the cost and at the same time to minimize the wastages that may avoid the risk also. The layout that should take care of proper ventilation, lighting, temperature, uh, and easy handling of the materials, that is storing everything. In that the stores, it has two different systems, or two different layout. One is centralized stores. Centralized stores in the sense nothing but that is in the organization, um, it is only one stores department. So in that stores department receives all the materials and issued to all the materials who on the basis of the requisition of the different departments. And the decentralized stores in the sense that is just opposite to the centralized one, that is the each and every department they themselves purchased their required materials or the goods, so there is no any dependency on the centralized stores. So as their own they can buy their required materials, that is known as decentralized stores. And the next one is substores. Substores are managed and controlled by the centralized store itself. And then classification and codification of material, these and all are done by the storekeeper. So each and every material, that is it is not possible to name that is name all the materials fully. So that is in for that the storekeeper may give some code words or use some code words and placed in the particular or the respective place of the materials. So for that he may use some or give some codifications of all the materials. For example, here that is whatever the system of codification is used, so it should be ensured that the system of simple and the inventory control. So inventory in the sense nothing but the stock. So one of the important aspect of the overall material management is inventory control, the stock controller. So overstocking and the that should avoid stock control is avoiding the overstocking, and it helpful to the that is to maintain the levels of the stock with the help of the material control. In that inventory control, uh, there are four different methods are used, that is the ABC system, just in time inventory, two bin system, stock level, and a perpetual inventory system. So we will see in this inventory control to the next class. Thank you, girls.